Hi, everybody, and welcome to the latest edition of the Celts podcast. This is an addition to our special guest series. I'm delighted to be joined by Celtics' youngest ever goal scorer, Aitchison. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Just looking forward to getting a wee chat and see how it goes.
Man, we appreciate you coming on. As I said to you off further, that most of the guys from the podcast are from Fald House, and I've got family there, and they're all buzzing for this one. But have you took advantage of the weather to go out for a pint or two?
I've been out a couple of times with catch up with the Celtic boys that I used to play with. But the weather wasn't too great, so luckily everything opened back up inside. So it was good to get back out and see the boys.
It's just good to get a wee pint, isn't it? I mean, we've all missed that, just going out socialising, being with friends and stuff, and I'm sure we'll get into what we're going to talk about here. And I always say to the guys who come on, I like to go back to the start, so I'm going to ask you a two-pronged question. So I want to know where your love of football came, but also when you're growing up, many of us had idols of football and people we looked up to. Mine would have been like the likes of Henrik Larsson, Alan Thompson, Petrov, Lennon. Who was it for you that you looked up to and made you want to become the professional footballer you are today?
Obviously going back to the first bit, just falling in love with football. I don't know. I didn't know anything else except for football. You know what I mean? It's first I can remember and seeing photos when I was still wee. I always had a football at my feet or in my hands, and I think obviously just coming up with that. My dad obviously loved football, so I just been brought up with it and all my family and stuff. So that's how I kind of got into it and started. Obviously, got a boys' club when I was like maybe 3 or 4, maybe even younger. Just like the wee toddler bit and stuff. But growing up, obviously I was a big Arsenal fan, so was my dad. So looking up, it was like Terry Henry and stuff. Even people like Ronaldinho and stuff. I went to the France Champions League final in Paris. I think it was Arsenal Barcelona. Didn't get any tickets, but got in a pub, and obviously Terry Henry and Ronaldinho were playing the same game, so it was brilliant to watch. And I was just gutted I didn't get any tickets for it.
It's when you look back on the idols that you're growing up, and it's all changed now. Obviously, they're all retired, the likes of Henry, and you're a big Arsenal fan, as you said. Obviously, Michael Arteta's there at the minute. But looking at your journey through the football pyramid, so to speak, and you said there you went to boys' clubs as young as 3 or 4, and then you've worked your way up. When did it start becoming serious for yourself, and when did you think that you could make a career out of this in terms of making it all the way up to the first team of a certain club before
that? Obviously, I started. I don't actually think you can. Well, obviously, get a toddler stuff. But it's not serious when you're like 2 or 3. But I think I actually went to. I think it was a club out of obviously people not in Scotland, Stenhousemuir. So obviously I went there, and it was just kind of like boys' club stuff. But I think I went when I was 4. But I don't think you were actually allowed to go when I was 6. And I didn't get allowed in. My dad was like, "No, just let him in. Like, see what you can do." And I think I was there like 5 minutes, and my dad said, like, I came over and he was buzzing to get me back for the next again week. So that's the first I can remember, and it's just stuff like that. So obviously, when it started getting serious, I played with a club called Bathgate Pumas. So my dad was quite mates with obviously the coach there, and I played there for a good number of years. And to be honest, I only played it for fun. I didn't think much would come from it, and I didn't even think much about obviously becoming a footballer. I just enjoyed playing with my mates and stuff. And maybe when I got to the age of about 6 or 7, 8, that's when I thought like I had a good chance. Obviously, that's when Celtic came in, and like a number of different other clubs in Scotland and stuff. And I was going to maybe 3 or 4 different clubs a week, training with them. Then obviously I signed with Celtic, and that's when I really started getting the head down and realised that something could come out of it.
That's mad. As young as 7 or 8, Celtic were sniffing about. That's crazy. Like, see, when you obviously signed for Celtic, obviously back then it would have been what age did you actually sign?
You can't really sign until you're 10. Obviously, you can train that all the time. So I signed my first contract when I was 10 years old. But I was actually with Celtic when I was like 6.5. But there was only an under 7, so I had to play a year up with the likes of like Mikey Johnson and stuff. He was there at that time.
Oh, that's crazy. When I was 7 or 8, I was running about the street pretending it was like Henrik Larsson, shouted at myself every time I scored a goal. And then there's yourself actually signing for the Celtic Football Club. But see, when you get obviously further on into the journey, 10, 11, 12 and stuff, was there ever a moment, like obviously standards of training and the players you're playing with, but there was ever a moment you look around yourself and say, maybe that's not for me, does come out of, because you're still young. And obviously, as you said, you were playing it for fun for a lot of years. And I've seen a lot of players coming out and saying that it gets too serious way too young, like instead of letting kids enjoy it. Is that what you kind of look back on now and think, or was it just the progression that needed to happen?
I think also a lot of stuff, I don't know, because obviously, like I said, I was with like 3 or 4 different clubs, so I was travelling like everywhere, even like up to like Inverness and stuff, like Dundee and stuff all the time. But I don't know, I just always enjoyed it. But I think I can see the point where people say that they don't enjoy it anymore and it gets too serious. But especially in these days, when you've got clubs picking people up when they're like 5 and like 4 or 5 now, like it's I don't know. It's incredible how you can tell a player at that age. But nah, I think the big thing was obviously at the time I missed going out with my friends. I missed quite a lot of time with my friends. Only really seen them at school, and like I was out the house for like school until I get back until like maybe 8 or 9 at night. So I didn't get to see anybody at all really. But I think when you want something, like you need to sacrifice a lot, and obviously I can see my friends in that now, so it's worked out not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's the sacrifices that you have to make, I suppose, to make that step up to professional and going through Celtics Academy, because you obviously imagine the likes of the training and stuff. And when you were in that kind of setup, going like 10, 12, 13, 14, was it hard to adjust from the likes of junior football when you're like 7, 9, 10 to get up them levels? And also, same with you could produce. Was it hard to do that, or was it something that you yourself was comfortable with? Were you always comfortable?
Nah, I was just always comfortable, like you said. I was there from like 6. I was like the first one actually in my age group when they started under 7. So like I was there all the way through. So I felt like comfortable all the way through. Like whoever came in, like I was always fine with them. So nah, it wasn't too bad. But nah, I felt comfortable all the way up, and like I said, I just kept having to. I knew what was getting asked from me at Celtic compared to obviously when I was playing with Bathgate Pumas. Like the demands, even at the under 11, 12, is unbelievable, because you know what you can make and what you can do. So I feel like when you're playing at kind of like the club level stuff, like it's just fun in it. So, but I think even at the under 10s, it's like a proper professional club. You know what I mean? You get demanded off. So, to be fair, I liked it, and as much obstacles came my way, I liked the challenge.
Who would have been about then in the academy at that point before you obviously signed your professional contract? Who would have been like an influence to yourself or someone you looked up to?
Was that at the club in the first team?
I know in terms of before, obviously you make that, I'm on about the academy level, so like 10, 11, 12, 13. Was there people around the coaches that you looked up to then, or was it more when you got into the professional side of things?
Well, to be fair, I don't know if you've heard the coach Martin Miller
No,
from
no, haven't
Celtic.
heard.
No, well, he's a very well respected coach there, and he's been there for ages. And obviously, I had him from under 6 all the way up till I was maybe 12. So I've known him like all my life, and I still contact him now. But he was the most positive guy ever, and just like looking at him and speaking to him every day just lifted your mood. And that's the kind of people that I wanted to be around. And he was probably a big part that I actually signed for Celtic when I was younger, because I loved like working with him. So he's quite a big inspiration for me signing for Celtic at youth level, because I know how much he could improve me, and not just on the field but off the field as well.
Yeah, as an individual. And see as well, when you're coming through the youth, you said there the pressure is mad, even at that young age. See, when you're in tournaments and stuff and you're in league competitions against other teams, I was asking Sam Wardrop about this as well. Is it just the attitude from the coaches from that early age to win everything?
Yeah, that's the mentality. As soon as you sign, you know what you're signing up for, and just by the way the coaches speak, and how not just at youth level, at the first team, you see how much is demanded, and even at the fans. Even when you win 1-0, they still say you're poor. Know what I mean? So you need to win by like 5 or 6 every game, but it's not how it works. But it's just, especially when you go away to tournaments, if you get to the final and don't win, like nobody's happy at all, and I think that's the mentality you need to have.
What kind of tournaments were you involved in? Was it the ones like going over like the foreign places and competing? Is that what you done at Celtic youth level?
Yeah. We went away to Ireland, so we're in Dublin and stuff. Had one in Northern Ireland as well. We went to Belgium. I think we went to Spain a couple of times as well. I can't really remember off the top of my head what ones, but one of the big ones was it's called Basevelde. It's in Belgium. So when you actually go, you don't actually stay in a hotel. Your team gets split up into twos, and you go and stay with like people in Belgium. So everybody's in a different house. So you're living with a family, and you're obviously, I don't know, I was maybe 12 or 13. So I was living with a different family with like another player, and it just feels so weird. Some of them don't even speak your language. So I was just I just stayed in my room, to be fair. But nah, it was a good experience. I think we get beat off. I think it was Barcelona in the final or the semi-finals and penalties. So yeah, it was a tough one to take.
Well, at least it's made it that far. I mean, Barcelona, they're no team to be sniffed at. We all know that. And when, for yourself, then you explained that the likes of demands. When did it start taking off into the professional contract? When did you start hearing whispers that you might be getting offered one? Because I'd say people expect they probably will get competitive between players and in your youth groups, and when you're 14, 15, 16 to fight for that contract. Was that something that you knew you were going to get, or was it something in your head you were like, I have to keep fighting for this?
No, I think the first time was when you go to the Celtic school. So there's a Celtic school called St Ninians in Kirkintilloch. So I think most of the boys get asked to go there. I don't think every boy get asked to go there. So when I first get told about getting a place in the school, I was really buzzing, and that's when I knew I needed to get my head down, because the next thing after that was obviously the development squad, the reserves, and then after that's the first team. So I know I was not too far away, but there's so many like steps in the ladder to climb still. So I think then in the first moment I realised was when I get told when I was 15. I think I was just starting third year, or I get took out of school by Celtic. So I was the only boy, and I get put up with the development squad. So I was 15, training with like 18 to 22-year-olds. So that was the biggest jump, like physically. At the start, I coped with it, but at the same time, I could only train a certain amount of numbers of days of the first couple of weeks, because like my body just wasn't used to that high intensity, and it was like double sessions each day, and it was just so tough. But I think when I was 15, I was only there a couple of months, and I got up and trained with the first team. When like Kazim Richards and stuff was there, Patrick Roberts and stuff. That's when KT was doing well as well, and I was just thinking like, wow, like I'm used to watching these people on TV, and now I'm like training with them when I'm like 15. So that was a big like wake up call for me to say like, wow, this can actually happen. So I need to get my head down and do everything I can off the pitch, like eating and sleeping, and that gives me the best benefit to try and get a chance there.
As you said, like that's crazy. You go to train with these players, and you're used to watching them on TV, like the KT, Callum Kazim Richards, maybe not so much, but the Paddy Roberts, Paddy Roberts, and things like they're all top quality players. And was this before? Sorry if I misheard you, but was this before you signed your professional deal? You were already training with the first team.
So this was before I signed my professional deal, and I think we played in the Glasgow Cup. That was under 16 or under 17 level. Sorry, so I was playing 2 years up in that. We won that, and I think the day before I found out I was getting my first professional contract before that game. So I was absolutely buzzing with that, and so I think I played well in that game as well, which was good. So obviously signed the contract the next day. So that was a good couple of days, especially winning that cup.
See, when you say the professional deal, obviously after it, things take off, and you're basically training with the development squad of the first team. And you rightly said there, your body couldn't cope with it. But see, when you're going up to them training pitches, training with players who you've seen on TV and you've watched and you've admired from afar, is it daunting, especially the first time? Is it something, because you hear the likes of Slaney out of open goal saying he would hide and stuff, and maybe he's joking about that, but is that the type of attitude you had where you're like, oh no, if I mess up here, I'm straight back down to the reserves or like under 19 level?
No, obviously when I first went up, I was only training with the reserves, so obviously I don't know. Obviously, if people seen Lennoxtown, it's all glass. So after I finished training, the first thing I would go and do is like go up in the stairs and watch the first team train. That's what I wanted to do. Is after training, was go and watch them train. Like just sit next to them in the canteen, or like just speaking to them, like walking past me in the hallway. Like I'm just like, sometimes like when my dad picked me up at the end of the day, because obviously I couldn't drive. They're all driving out in their big fancy cars. I'm getting picked up with my dad. That's when I realised like wow, like this is just like unbelievable.
Who would have been the guy then that would have kicked you on? Obviously, the development squad kicked you on sounds so bad, doesn't it? I mean, like pushed you on, but who would have been that them coaches or coach, especially the young players that are laying, because you previously had the likes of Tommy Burns as the go between the first team developmental squads. Who would have been that link up?
I think obviously, I don't know, a number of things happen. Just like catching an eye, a first team coach, or obviously I think the coaches have each number of meetings each week, discussing obviously different players and stuff. I think stuff like that. Obviously, I think Chris McCart, I think he pushed me on really well when I was younger. Obviously, like you say, coming out of school and going up with the first team and stuff. I think just also when I got to the back end, obviously, when I got older, that's when stuff started to slow down. But no, I think obviously Tommy McIntyre, Chris McCart, that was the coaches at the time that pushed me on.
Yeah, and seeing the developmental squad, what type of players would have been in that? Would there anybody that people would know now that you would have been playing with and that kind of thing?
You've got obviously, I think Sam Wardrop that you had on, I don't know, last week or a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
You've got Mikey Johnson, you've got Aidan Nisbet, you've got Calvin Miller. That's just off the top of my head. I'm trying to think, maybe Regan Henry and stuff. People know. So any kind of boys like that.
Any big characters in the developmental squad? I won't give you any grief or anything like that.
Nah, I think obviously Aidan Nisbet. He'd give you grief, but he was just obviously a character, you know what I mean? He was quite a big voice in the changing room at the time. Obviously, he was up and down with the first team, so you get people like that, and I think obviously, I don't know if people know like Luke Donnelly or people like that. So he was like, I think he was 4 or 5 years old on me, so like obviously they've obviously experienced a lot more than me, so I normally listen to them and stuff, but nah, just some of the stuff that they would say and do, it was good to be around.
And then obviously you made your debut at the end of Ronnie Dyla's tenure at Celtic, and before we obviously get to that, when did you start training with the first team squads or be involved with the first team? Because as you said there, you were still quite young. I mean, you're Celtic's youngest ever goal scorer. Do you know what I mean? So when did you start getting regularly training with the first team, or was it just off the whim you started being involved in squads and things?
Just sometimes if they needed a number, if obviously I don't know if like people in my position were injured or didn't train, that I'd maybe get called up, or if I'd done well in a game or a couple of games in a row, I'd get called up obviously as a kind of reward to go get my chance. But I was always up and down. I was never with them for a long period of time. Then I came back from the Euros, and obviously Ronnie Delia, the manager, pulled me in and was like, "Oh, you'll get be with us for a couple of weeks now. You've done well," and it was obviously the last couple of games. So that's, I think, that day as well. I think the game was the next day actually as well against Motherwell, and that's when they told me. Having John Collins told me after I came out of lunch, and they just kind of slipped it in the conversation that I was going to be in the squad for the next day. And I don't think I actually realised what he said until I walked away from him. I was like, "What, did he actually say what he just said there?" And then obviously I checked the board. My name was up in the board. So that's when I couldn't believe it, and obviously phoned my agent and stuff at the time, and I don't think I actually realised how big a deal it was at the time until I got on the phone to my agent and spoke to my family. And like, wow, this is like so big.
I mean, it's the biggest thing ever. I'd love to put on that Celtic shirt and play in front of 60,000 people. That's unbelievable. Like, I'd be sitting with my local team if I'm not named to the squad. I go in a huff. Do you know what I mean? That's the way it goes for me. But like, see, when you're obviously training around about the first team, you get called up every now and then, and as you said there, you come back from the Euro competition and we're pulled in. What was like Ronnie Delia and John Collins and Kennedy like? Because I mean, Collins especially, he gets a lot of flack from ex-professionals saying that he runs about with a six-pack hanging out and he's doing pull-ups everywhere on doors and Lennox Town. But what were they like as a coaching trio?
No, it was good. Obviously, I think I get on really well. Obviously, Ronnie Delia and John Collins. I think they really took a shine to me, and I got on really well. Especially John Collins. Obviously, it helps. Obviously, he's Scottish, and I can understand him a bit better. But I never really seen him run a bit with his six pack. Maybe I seen him come to the gym, walk through to lunch. He'd bash out a couple of, I don't know, 6 pull-ups or something, and he'd walk out. But I think I really appreciate obviously what John and Ronnie done. I've not actually really had the chance to. I've not even spoke to Ronnie after the game, so whenever I next see or hear from him, I'm definitely got to thank him a lot for what he done for me.
Yeah. What was that like training up with the first team? I mean, what players stood out for you, and was there any like big time shouts? I mean, the likes of Brady, you could obviously imagine what the types of stuff he would do, but was it intense that were on you from the get go when you're training with the first team?
Yeah, obviously it doesn't matter what age you are. And obviously they don't not put their foot in because you're 15-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, if you're up there, then you need to deal with obviously what gets said or done up there, and that's the real life of football and growing up football. So I think one of my first sessions, I think, as a Geary, actually, he tackled me and put his studs right into my hip, and that's when I realised, like, oh, that I'm in a man's game now, and you need to play through injuries, or you just need to get on with it, and that's the deal. So.
Was there any players in particular for yourself, like you looked up to when you were training, or you wanted to like take it, not like get advice from? Was there like players that pulled you in and told you maybe do this better or try that and see how it works?
I think obviously growing up like people like James Forrest, you get Cal McGregor, KT, people who came through the academy, so it kind of shows you that there is a chance for you here, and so I kind of looked up to the kind of boys, and obviously you get people like Bruni who in training they demand so much, and he's one of the best trainers I've ever seen, like 100% every day. He never takes a day off, even when he's playing through an injury or he's not well or stuff. But I think I got on really well with Griff. Obviously when we went away pre-season, I shared a room and stuff with him. And
what was he like?
He's very chilled, very very chilled, and I got on really well with him. And but no, I think he's the best finisher I've ever seen in my life, and just taking tips on like how he strikes the ball and what he does in this area to obviously get a better chance at a shot at goal. So to be like the likes of side for them like every day, it's just good, and it improves you a lot.
So, just to get your point of view, obviously, just be straight to the point. Do you think Celtic should keep a hold of Griffiths for next season?
Well, it's obviously hard because obviously Odson's he's done well, especially last season before this one. He's still done very well this season, but I think Griff gets enough respect. Well, obviously what he's done for the club and like how. Obviously, it's hard because he's not had a lot of chances. He maybe gets like 15, 20 minutes here, but to do something in that, it's obviously hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But obviously, it doesn't help you sell at times as well. I'll say that, but I think even if you're not getting started, to bring him off the bench, he's always got to give you a chance at goal, or he will nick you a goal.
As you said, he's the best finisher in Scotland on his day. Like when he's firing them for all angles, free kicks and stuff. But moving on to you again. So you're training with the squad, and you said you were named. You looked at the board, and your name was there. What was that feeling for yourself like? Because I could imagine myself, my arse would collapse, and like it would just go bump. But what was your emotion? Because to be named in a squad at the age you were and stuff, and was it just pure like just excitement, buzzing to get into the game, get into the first team dressing room?
Yeah, I was obviously buzzing. I had obviously at that age you have absolutely no fear in you at all. Obviously I've never experienced a lot of fans like that before, so I was just buzzing. I was just praying that I got on a couple of minutes, and obviously you go away the night before and stay at the hotel. So obviously I went home and get obviously food and stuff. Went back, get changed, went to the hotel overnight. Obviously you sit and have dinner and stuff. Obviously first time you're there, you need to sing in front of the first team as well. So
Oh, what was the song? Come on, give it
that's
to
a
me.
nice breaker. I think it was "Stand By Me."
Give us a wee tune of it. Go on.
No, no chance. But just stuff like that, the experience of going away overnight and just sitting with the boys at dinner and speaking to them, obviously helps a lot. And I think leading up to the game the night before, I think I actually only get 4 hours sleep.
Oh,
I was up.
spend the PlayStation?
No. I was trying to get to sleep, but I was too busy thinking about like if I got on, like I need to do this, I need to do that, and I was just imagining the fans, and I don't know. I think I wasn't nervous, but I was just so excited for like obviously for tomorrow to come to obviously get on the pitch.
See, when on game day itself, like what's the build up to the game? Because obviously it's against Motherwell and it's going to be a packed house because of the league presentation and stuff like that. So when you get up, you said there you get 4 hours sleep. What's the build up? Is it like breakfast, bit of whatever, bit of rest time, straight to the stadium, warm up, and then is it game time like that?
Yeah, I think obviously you get an option to go to breakfast. So breakfast will be on from, I don't know, just roughly say from like 7 to 10. Because some people go to breakfast but don't eat pre-match, so everybody's got a different routine. So after breakfast, you go back to your room, chill, shower. You then meet downstairs. You go maybe 15-20 minute walk, go into the meeting. Obviously, whatever the manager says and what you watch. Then you go into pre-match, so you get pre-match meal, sit and chill maybe 15-20 minutes after that, and obviously you leave, you go on the bus, and that's you on the way to the game. So,
and what was it like running up doing the warm up? Was that mad too?
yeah, it was mad because obviously when I first came out, like I didn't realise how many fans would actually be in the stadium already, and I was like, this is just mad. And I think obviously quite a lot of people were obviously asking for me to get my debut before it because I was doing well in the youth team, and just like hearing like fans say your name and stuff, you're just like how do you even know me? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was just like a surreal moment, and I just obviously it doesn't come very often, so I just try to take everything in and make the most of it.
Was your family there? Were they present?
I think I get 2 tickets for the game.
Just
There was
2?
Wow. There was 2 tickets, so I think I think it was obviously my wee sister, and a couple of other my family members. They actually had to buy a ticket because we couldn't get any other tickets because it was basically sold out. So I think all my family were like spread out, but I get to see them after the game, and they came down onto the pitch and stuff. So I think it was good for them as well.
Yeah, and you'd actually be surprised the amount of people that know about youth coming through, because if you ever listen to our podcast, we talk about youth all the time, and the likes of Carmo and Belly at the minute. I don't know if it was he about when you were training with the first team or anything, or was he still too young?
Sometimes he was up with the development squad, so he
Aye.
maybe had a similar path to me. Obviously coming up early and stuff like that. So.
And then Oakville Flex and players like that. I mean, people take a keen interest, and as you rightly said, the sign your name. Look at Kieran Tierney, and he got plotted for all the years he was there. And funny enough, what is the team talk in the dressing room that day? Is it just go out and enjoy yourself? Is that what Ronnie Daly is trying to get across, or is it like just get in, get the win by a couple of goals, give the fans a show?
Yeah, that's mostly it. Obviously, he does most of his talking in the team meeting before in the hotel. So before, obviously, when you go into the changing room, everybody does their own thing, and everybody has a different routine, what to do before the game. Some of them will be away for a massage or stuff like that. You just chill, and before you go out, you obviously come together and you obviously say whatever he says, and then you go out. So that's changing rooms are pretty chilled, and obviously everybody's got a different culture. And some people, I don't know, like to dance before a game, or some people's got their own like headphones and stuff in. So
Who
everybody's
likes
got
to
a different
dance before
ways.
the game? What are you doing, the cha-cha slide or something?
Nah, no one likes the cha-cha slide, but everybody's got different cultures,
But
and that's what they're used to in it. So
I know what I mean. I was just trying to imagine all you guys in the dressing room before the game just dancing or something, doing the salsa or
nah,
whatever.
I don't mean a proper dance move, but I just mean like you can see people just getting up for it.
Yeah, no, I get it 100%. So, sorry about that. The game finished 7-0. Obviously, it's the end of season game. Tierney scored, Roderick, Lustig, Armstrong, Roberts, Christie, and we'll leave this to you. What was the build-up? When did you get the shout that you were coming on? Because by all accounts, that team was strong that day, and it was Gordon, Tierney, Sachenko, Ambrose, Lustig, McGregor, Johansson, Roberts, Roderick, Armstrong, and Christie up front. When did you get the shout that you were getting on?
I think obviously I kind of got a rough idea because one of the sports science coaches came up to me at half time and was just like, just be ready and try and keep sharp. And he obviously you can take stuff. You get like caffeine shots. So normally if you try and get one of them before like at half time, like there is a chance for you to come on. So I think I just kept going back to the toilet, back and forth to the toilet because I think I was just a wee bit nervous. And I think one time I came back to the toilet and Ronnie was just like, go and warm up. So I was like, oh, I'm not thinking too much about it. And I think I was there for I must have been there for like 10, 15 minutes just warming up. And I was like, oh, there's no chance of me getting on. Then obviously the next minute he just calls my name, and that's when it kind of hit me. I was like, oh, I'm coming on here. So obviously I get stripped. And obviously when I think, I don't know who came, I think it was Tom Roderick that came off for me. Then as soon as I stepped as soon as I stepped in the pitch, that everything just went away, and I was just in the zone, and I don't know, I just felt something would happen that day, and I visualised it for all night. Like I said, I didn't sleep, so I was absolutely buzzing. So I'm just glad to say that I've scored at Celtic Park.
Talk me through the goal. What was your feeling, your emotion, celebrating? Was it, see, like for me, like if that was me, I would have been, that celebration just would have been a blur. Everything's a blur, as you said. You're in the zone, but for you, talk me through the lead up to that goal and the players you were playing with. How did you feel at that level? Was it something even at that early age you were comfortable with?
Yeah, I think obviously I've always played against older people growing up. Like I say, I played in the development squad for a decent while before it, and I came up against maybe players that are the first team but they're injured and they're coming back. So I had the experience against playing against like proper men. I think obviously like celebration stuff. I think Kenny, the cameraman, was like, "Oh, if you get on, when he was like, when you score, come over to me," because obviously he's done all the youth games as well. So yeah. I think the first thing that came in my head was just go to him. And then after that, like I can't even like remember what happened. I think obviously watching it back, I think it looks like I pushed Ryan Christie away a wee bit. But I just didn't know what to do. You know what I mean? Then obviously the squad coming over, and it was just one of the best moments in my life.
And not only that, it was trophy day as well. So what was the celebrations like?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Like I think obviously we came in and got ready and stuff, came back out, left the trophy, and obviously walking around the pitch and just seeing all the joy in like the fans' faces and hearing your name getting shouted and the crowd singing. It was just a moment like you'll never forget in your life, and I took everything in, and just was so pleased that it happened.
Was it goosebumps when you were doing that, holding that trophy and stuff?
Yeah, it was like unbelievable. I think I didn't realise how heavy the trophy actually is.
Is it heavy?
No, it's unbelievably heavy. I don't know if it was just because I was young and I was a wee weak guy back then, but I lifted it up and it slipped a bit and it like smacked me in the lip, and I was like, it was so sore, honestly. But I was trying to get pictures, and my lip was like all numb and stuff. So, but even to like lift the trophy, and that was just unbelievable.
What was the dressing room like after? I'm sure the drinks were flying. Everyone was in party mode, like.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I think it was like champagne flying everywhere. Like I couldn't even see. Like it was like burning my eyes and stuff. But obviously, I was like 16, so I didn't drink or that, and I don't even know if the boys went out after, but like I just went back home with my family and stuff, and all my family had a meal back just close to where I live, so I was too young to go out with the boys.
I didn't drink in inverted commas, and I'm only joking. So obviously, we all know after that was Ronnie Delia's final goodbye to the Celtic fans, and him and his coaching staff, apart from the ever-present John Kennedy, departed. Were you gutted that he left? Well, obviously the news filtered through that he was leaving after that semi final of the cup against Rangers. But were you gutted that he was leaving? Was it like because he gave you a chance? Did you feel like quite a connection to him?
Yeah, I felt obviously he had a big impact at my time at Celtic, and obviously I was gutted. Like I said, like I've obviously not spoke to him after the game and got to thank him because obviously he was away in interviews, and obviously it was trophy day as well. So obviously he was just bombarded with people, and I was just gutted I didn't get to say thanks and that I appreciate it, and hopefully we come across paths soon, and I get to thank him and for everything that he's done for me. So
yeah, I mean, by all accounts, he loves bringing for the youth, as you said. KT, McGregor, yourself, and I mean that's a fairly good production thing coming in next time. And obviously, fast forwarding into the summer, Rodgers gets the job. He comes in. What was that like for yourself? Did you like? There's two ways that I'm thinking here. Was it one of them ones he's coming in as a well-known coach around the world, and you're thinking, if I impress him, I get a chance, or was it like he's coming in here, I'm back to square one, trying to impress him, get up again for the development team back into the first team?
Yeah, like you say, I had mixed emotions because obviously it's such a big name, you know what I mean? So I was like, I can't wait to obviously walk with him and his background staff and improve as a player. And obviously I was thinking I'm still so young as well, so I knew I wasn't get a chance straight away. Especially such a big name like that, I knew that it would attract interest from bigger players, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he obviously brought like I don't know. I don't even know if his first signing was like Moussa Dembele or something like that.
I think that was Ronnie Daly. He signed on.
Sorry,
I think.
Sorry. So bringing players in like that, I knew it's going to take me a while to get a chance here. But always thinking is like, how much can I improve as a player under him? And if it doesn't work out here, then I'm getting to improve and help somebody else's other team. You know what I mean? So. I think as a player you need to have a bit of selfishness about you and sometimes put yourself first because nobody else will.
Yeah, I mean, your next appearance, if I'm wrong here, correct me, was against Hearts in 2017. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So what? Up and obviously you come on, you scored a goal, and then you go through pre-season. You're in the squads and stuff and things like that. What was Rodgers good with the youth? What was your overwhelming thing towards Rodgers? Because I think at the moment anyway, the pathway from youth to first team is a massive gap. There seems to be basically nobody coming through at the minute. I mean, Stephen Welsh has come in and he's done a fantastic job, but we all have to think that was by accident because the rest of the defenders were shite. But if you're looking at it now, was he good with yourself personally? What was his training like and things like that?
Yeah, I think obviously the big wake up call was how much he demanded in training. And obviously, players and teams he's worked with, like his standard was so high, and obviously he's probably the best actual manager coach on the field that I've actually worked with. That's the fittest and best I've been, and I think the fans will see that was the best that's when Celtic was the best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think just working under him and speaking to him. Obviously, at the time I was up with him pre-season for like a number of weeks. Went away pre-season, and I think there was a good number away with them, like youth players. So I think it's obviously so hard when there's players coming in that when players come in, like other youth people get pushed down. You know what I mean? So like it's just such a hard kind of thing when a new manager comes in.
Yeah, I mean, see for yourself, for your development, did it not really like annoy you that you weren't really getting back into the team again until late January 2017? Because I can imagine you coming off that high, scoring against Motherwell, and then you're going into pre-season with your hopes up, even though Dele left. But then, as you said, Roger is coming in. He's a world-known coach. He's a fantastic motivator. Were you not quite disappointed not getting more opportunities at Celtic while you were there?
Yeah, I was absolutely gutted. I think every day when I came home, I was like, I wasn't angry, but there was a fire in my belly that I know that at the time I was doing really well at the development squad. I was still really young. At the time, I thought I deserved my chance to get more games. But he told me there was more to my game that I need to improve on, and I went away and worked on it and came back, and that's when I kind of got my chance at the Hearts game. So after the Hearts game, I think that was my second game. I won a penalty, so I was like, surely that would be me back in like amongst the squad, but never really happened, and that's football, really, isn't it? So
yeah, I mean it's the ups and downs of football, and as you said there, after that game, it never really happened for yourself. You made loan moves like Dumbarton, Alloa, and there's one I want to touch on in particular. It fascinates me, just briefly anyway, with yourself, Jack. You joined Forest Green Rovers. Now, a lot of people know Forest Green Rovers about they're green club, aren't they? So they're vegan.
yeah,
Is that the way it is?
yeah. Everything's vegan. The strip, the pitch is vegan. Just food, everything is absolutely vegan.
And what was that like? What I mean, you're leaving Celtic. I mean, an institution in world football, and you're going on loan to the Forest Green. Yes, respectively, you play for Dumbarton and Alloa and things in the Championship. But what was Forest Green like? Because from the outside in, I've done just a wee bit of research into them. They look like a well-run club. I mean, the vegan thing, I don't get the vegan thing, but I think that stems from the owners. But what was that experience like for yourself?
Yeah, it was the best loan move I've had, and I don't know, it's just like a family club. Everybody gets on well. Obviously, where the stadium stuff is, it's in Stroud, so it's a really small place. So I think everybody knows each other, and it was just such a, like you said, a well-run club, and just even doing something different like vegan food, and just try to do something different. Know what I mean? So I think that's they had a lot to do with my football career as well. That how much they improved me and how much I matured on the pitch, like and off. So I've got a big place in my heart for Forest Green. So
Was that the type of club for yourself that you needed after Celtic just to go back in and feel a love again of football?
yeah, definitely. I think obviously the Dumbarton loan, that was just a really rushed loan. I think that was just out of anger that I wasn't getting games, and I just
Yeah.
needed out of Celtic for a while. But obviously stuff happens and it didn't work out, and obviously the next one was Alloa, and didn't really get a chance, but I was maybe getting like 5 minutes, 2 minutes here, and obviously I started getting more of a chance, and I was doing well, but maybe my numbers didn't say that, but I was doing really well, and I don't know, I think I was just kind of caught up in a rut a wee bit, and I didn't know what was happening, and obviously I think that loan move to Forest Green happened in the last day of the window. So I had to, it was so quick, everything happened, I had to pack up and fly down, and this happened within a number of hours, and obviously it went on for there, and it's I feel like that loan move has made me realise and come over in the football world that how much what happens and what goes on, and just need to be grown up about it. So
Yeah. And when did you actually permanently leave Celtic? Because obviously these were loan moves. Would have been 2020 around about then you would have left Celtic permanently?
yeah, it was the season after Forest Green that obviously I came back.
Uh-huh.
We were obviously off for ages, obviously just due to the pandemic, COVID and stuff. Obviously I thought I'd done really well, and I think I was one of the most productive teenagers in obviously the top four leagues in England. So some of the names I was up against was like unbelievable, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get another shot at Celtic here. I'm gonna get another chance, and obviously I didn't get called up to go away pre-season. So I was absolutely gutted. So the amount of fire in my belly I had at that time that I didn't get to go away when other youth players did. I'm not saying they didn't deserve the chance, but I thought I deserved the chance more than other people who get called away. So
Yeah.
the amount of fire in my belly I had at the time was unbelievable, and I came back pre-season absolutely firing, and the coaches were just going on about me, and I still didn't get my chance with the first team. So I was speaking to them every day, and I was like, "What's going on? There's no point in me being here," and I don't think they wanted me to leave. And obviously, I had offers for a decent number of clubs, and I just kind of took my time deciding it, and I just obviously just need to be selfish sometimes and think about your career first. When obviously the club didn't value me as much as I thought they should have, and at the time, and that's football, and you just need to move on. So
I don't think it's selfish. I think it's what you need to do for your own, as you said, your career, because there's no point in you sitting at Celtic stagnating when you're coming back from Forest Green, as you said, being productive, one of the most productive teenagers in the 4 leagues in England, and you're up against, as you said, world class names down there, and you're coming back to Celtic. From my point of view, you're well within your right to argue your case to be away with them in pre-season. And who was it that actually let yourself go? Was it a collective decision, or was it you made your mind up?
I think obviously the move to obviously Barnsley, and there was obviously offers went in before Barnsley that got rejected. So I think I obviously went back and forth for weeks and weeks. With obviously Barnsley and stuff, and Celtic were just like, no, we're just not letting you go at all. And obviously I only had 1 year left in my contract, so I was in my last year, and I was like, well, I can sit here till January and I can go for a free. So obviously, a club being obviously every club's a business, they wanted something, so they obviously get something and get a sell-on fee and stuff. So I don't know, probably worked out better for both parties. So that's how I am.
And now you find yourself at Barnsley, yeah?
Yeah, at Barnsley now, yeah.
And how's that going for yourself? Obviously, you've been the Steve Needs on loan as well, but do you think everything's looking up for yourself going forward?
Yeah, I think obviously things going on at Barnsley that I had to go out and loan. So obviously that loan was really rushed as well. It happened like the last day of the window again. Obviously living at a hotel. So I think I went down first 3 games. I was on fire, playing really well. Then I done my ankle. I done grade 3 in my ATFL, I think it was. So I was out for 3 months. So I went back to Barnsley for rehab and got in amongst it there. And I wanted to stay there and prove that I was good enough to go there. And obviously, like you said, things happen in clubs, and I had to go back out again. I went back to Stevenage, and I just found it really tough living at a hotel. Obviously, it was during like the kind of second lockdown, so like nothing was opened, or the chefs were off in the hotel. So I was eating like Nando's like every night. I was in this,
not too bad.
I was in this small room, and I just felt really lonely, and obviously I was still kind of injured at the time, and it just didn't work out, that loan move. But that's football, and you need to move on. So hopefully, the plan is to obviously go back to Barnsley and stay in there this season.
Yeah. Well, contrast with what you just said to me, I had a microwave curry meal last night with a glass of wine. Absolutely. So it was.
Yeah, to be fair, Christmas Day I had it myself, and I had a microwave meal. So there you go.
We're all in the microwaves here, but I mean, us at the Endless Celts podcast, we've spoken about you numerous times on the podcast. We thought you should be given the fair opportunity, and we do hope things at Barnsley go well. But before we let you go, Jack, I want you to give a piece of advice to a younger self or a younger player coming through at any club. What would be your advice to them at this moment?
Obviously, coming up through thingies and stuff, just believe in yourself, trust yourself, and obviously you know what's best for you, and you need to put yourself first sometimes. And obviously, that's what you need to do, is put yourself first, and you need to believe in yourself. If it doesn't happen, that you don't have anything to obviously give sometimes to clubs, and you need to put yourself first and do what's best for you, and speak your mind. And big one is don't trust what everybody says, and so that's a big one. Never trust anybody in the football world, and just do what's best for you, and that's what you need to do.
Yeah, that's never been more apparent in this season that we're seeing at Celtic, but again, that's for another show. And we also give you the task of giving me your ultimate five-a-side team of players you played with. Sam Ward's give us an ultimate five-a-side team of the best players in the world, but I mean, it was still great. But what about yourself? Have you had time to think about that?
No, I haven't, but I don't know if I could do it quickly. Just obviously a Celtic edition, I don't know. Probably, don't know. Just a Celtic edition, I'd probably say Craig Gordon goals. I think KT needs to be in it. I'd probably say Patrick Roberts. That's 3. I put Mr. Dembele in it. I put myself up front.
I love it. I mean, that goes along with your Russ Lowe moves, because that was a Russ 5-a-side team.
I know, I was quickly off the top of my head.
No, we appreciate you coming on. Your Celtics youngest ever goal scorer, Jack Aitchison. Have you enjoyed your time at the End of Celts podcast?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. It's good for a wee chat, and hopefully get more people on, and hopefully it kicks on.
Yeah, man, and we do appreciate the support we're getting from everybody, including yourself, coming on the show, giving us a wee hand, having a wee chat. And to the people who are listening, as they always say, stay well and keep safe. Hail, hail.